I've seen a lot of horror, I mean a lot. I've jumped at the cheap scares, I've sat through psychological thrillers that try to mess with your head. And I've even laughed at some of the most over-the-top gore-fests. I honestly thought I was pretty much unshakable, immune to the tricks of the trade. Then my team and I decided to try an experiment. We tasked an AI with a simple, yet ambitious goal: write a horror film script designed to truly terrify. What we got back wasn't just good. It was an unnervingly insightful look into the darkest corners of the human psyche, and I'm still thinking about it days later. So get ready to be unsettled, because today we're dissecting the AI-generated horror script that genuinely terrified me. Our experiment began with what we thought was a straightforward challenge. Could we push an AI, a machine learning model, to generate genuine fear? Not just random gore or predictable jump scares, but that deep, creeping dread that gets under your skin and stays there. We started by feeding it a series of prompts. We weren't just saying write a scary story. We were much more specific. We focused on keywords like psychological horror, existential dread, the uncanny valley, and subtle terror. We wanted to guide the AI away from the cliches and towards something more sophisticated. The initial drafts were interesting. You could see the AI trying to piece things together. It understood the basic structure of a horror story. There was a haunted house, a mysterious noise, a character foolishly going into the basement alone. It was like a collage of every horror trope you've ever seen. The scenes were technically coherent, but they were hollow. They lacked that spark of genuine fear. It was proficient, but predictable. Honestly, we were about to call it a day. Chalk it up as a fun but ultimately failed experiment. But then we adjusted the parameters one last time, adding a layer of ambiguity. Telling the AI that the threat should never be fully seen or understood. And that's when everything changed. This was the aha moment. It felt like a switch had been flipped. The AI stopped just mimicking horror and started creating it. The new script it generated was different. It transcended the cliches and began to craft scenarios that were genuinely disturbing. We started analyzing it, scene by scene, and what we found was fascinating. The AI had learned to build suspense not with what it showed you, but with what it held back. For example, there's a scene where a character is talking to her husband in the kitchen. The conversation is normal, almost mundane, but the script describes the husband's shadow on the wall behind him, and the shadow is just slightly out of sync with his movements. A hand gestures a fraction of a second too late. The head tilts when the man's head is still. There's no monster, no loud noise, just this subtle, creeping wrongness that makes your skin crawl. It was things like this that showed the AI was tapping into something deeper. It was exploiting subconscious fears and anxieties we all have. The fear of not being able to trust your own perception. The terror that someone you love and trust is not who they appear to be. Another scene involved a child's bedroom filled with dolls. A classic horror setup, right? But the AI didn't have the dolls move on their own. Instead, the script described the main character entering the room and noticing that all the dolls had been rearranged. They were now all facing the corner of the room, as if they were all staring intently at something that wasn't there. It's a simple image, but it's incredibly effective because it forces your own imagination to fill in the blank and create the monster. The AI had figured out that the most terrifying thing is often what we can't see. So, let's really dissect this script. The AI created these compelling, deeply flawed characters. The protagonist wasn't a hero. She was a woman grappling with intense paranoia after a personal tragedy, making her an unreliable narrator from the start. Her husband was portrayed as patient and loving, which made the subtle hints that something was wrong with him even more terrifying. The AI understood that horror is most effective when it's grounded in relatable human drama. You cared about these characters, which made their descent into madness and their horrific fates all the more impactful, and the threat itself. This is where the AI's creativity was truly on display. It wasn't a ghost, a demon, or a slasher. The antagonist was never named or even fully described. It was a presence. An entity that operated on a logic that was alien to human understanding. It didn't want to kill the characters, at least not in a conventional way. It wanted to unravel their reality. It manipulated memories, altered perceptions, and turned their own minds against them. The AI had created a form of psychological predator, an antagonist that was conceptual, which is so much more frightening than any creature with claws and fangs. It was the fear of losing your sanity, your identity, your very grasp on what is real. Then there's the ending. Oh, the ending. I won't spoil the exact details, just in case this ever actually gets made, but I will tell you this. It offered no resolution, no final confrontation, no explanation. The script concludes with the main character in a seemingly normal, happy scene. She's with her family, everything appears to be perfect. But the final line of description notes that her shadow, cast on the wall behind her, is completely still. It doesn't move at all, even as she does. The end. It just leaves you with this profound sense of unease. The horror doesn't end. It has simply integrated itself into her reality, and she's unaware. That's what left us so disturbed. The idea that the nightmare isn't over, it has just become your life. This entire experience made us question, how did the AI even do this? We can only speculate, but it seems that by processing vast amounts of horror databooks, films, scripts, it didn't just learn tropes. It learned the patterns behind them. It identified the core emotional triggers that make horror effective. It understood that the fear of the unknown, the loss of self, and the corruption of the familiar are far more potent than a simple jump scare. It's a bit unsettling to think about the implications. An AI that can generate emotionally resonant content isn't just a tool for artists. It could become a master artist itself. Imagine a future where an AI could tailor a horror story specifically to your personal fears, based on your online data. Could AI become the ultimate horror storyteller, tapping into our deepest, most private anxieties? Honestly, reading this script had a lasting impact on me and the team. It genuinely changed my perception of both AI and the horror genre. I found myself looking over my shoulder a little more, questioning the shadows in my own home. It's a testament to how powerful storytelling can be, regardless of who or what the author is. It proved that an algorithm can, in fact, understand the intricate mechanics of human dread. And now I want to pose a challenge to you. Based on what I've described, the out-of-sync shadow, the dolls staring at the corner, the unsettling ending, what specific element do you think would be the most terrifying to experience? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious to hear what gets under your skin. Share your ideas on AI-generated horror. And if you want to see more mind-bending experiments like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.